Happy Wednesday morning, September 23rd, 2020. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. We have a lot of news to get to this Wednesday morning, so let's get started. First up, 38 new cases, 1 new hospitalization for COVID-19 in New Hampshire, officials say. New Hampshire health officials reported 38 new positive cases of COVID-19 and 1 new hospitalization in the state Tuesday. And now let's take a look at your COVID-19 in New Hampshire important information and latest data. Let's take a look at that right now. And here is a look at those latest information and data. There are 7,990 number of people in New Hampshire have tested positive for COVID-19. 6,882,969 number of people in the United States who have tested positive. 438 number of deaths from COVID-19 in New Hampshire. 727 number of people have been hospitalized with COVID-19 in New Hampshire, and 477 number of people in the United States who have death of COVID-19 in the United States. And now let's take a look at this current map of New Hampshire, where current cases of COVID-19 are. Manchester, 32. And let's take a look at this map of New Hampshire, where total cases of COVID-19 are. Manchester, 2026. And now let's take a look at this chart here. Let's start with the first chart here. New cases each day. New Hampshire in the purple, daily new positive COVID-19 cases. In the orange, new hospitalizations. And in the red are the deaths. Let's take a look at this chart here. Current cases in the purple, total current COVID-19 cases. In orange, current hospitalizations. And let's take a look at this chart here. Total cases in the purple, total positive COVID-19 cases. In the orange, total hospitalizations. Red, deaths. In blue, recovered. And now let's take a look at this chart here. Age group of cases, female and male of cases, and risk information. And let's take a look at this chart here. Infections, hospitalizations, and deaths. Let's take a look at this chart here. Deaths, percent of New Hampshire population, race/ethnicity of cases, and hospitalizations. And a reminder, your common symptoms: fever, lack of smell, cough, chills, difficult breathing, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea. How it spreads, and prevention tips. And be sure to stay with the Riley King Network for the latest of your COVID-19 information. Pence tells rally in Guilford that Supreme Court seat will be filled. Vice President says Trump campaign committed to New Hampshire. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Mike Cronin and Adam Sexton.
For the easy and the complex, the small stuff and the big, We're here with the affordable local loans, easy to manage accounts, and financial advice to help you blaze a trail, figure stuff out, and make your money go farther. We're Granite State Credit Union. Live bold.
It is great to be back in live free or die country.
Vice President Mike Pence says the road to re-election goes through New Hampshire, and his boss wants to win here in 2020.
When I talked to him this morning and told him I was headed back to the Granite State, I think he sounded just a little bit jealous.
Speaking at a Laconia airport hangar in Guilford tonight, some supporters wore masks while others didn't. The vice president promising them that the open Supreme Court justice seat will be filled this year.
This Saturday, President Donald Trump will nominate another principled conservative, a woman to the Supreme Court of the United States. And after the United States Senate fulfills their duty to advise and consent, we're going to fill that seat.
The VP says their administration will stand with law enforcement and never defund the police.
The attacks and disrespect of law enforcement must stop, and it must stop now.
Mr. Pence also blasted opponent Joe Biden, saying the Democrat would reverse much of the Trump administration's policies.
Joe Biden is for open borders, sanctuary cities, free lawyers, and health care for illegal immigrants.
The VP urging voters for another term.
I'm here 42 days from Election Day because I know New Hampshire is going to say yes to 4 more years of President Donald Trump.
And there was an emphasis at that event to vote Republican down the ballot. The VP was joined by the GOP Senate and congressional candidates from New Hampshire. Reporting live, Mike Cronin, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And Air Force 2 carrying VP Mike Pence returns to airport in Manchester shortly after takeoff. Plane landed safely after possible bird strike, sources say. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Hey, Paul here, owner of Century Roofing. I personally wish to thank the thousands of our customers for supporting our team. At Century, our team continues to grow, and we have recently made a big...
This is video of the Vice President on Air Force 2 just moments after leaving the runway at Manchester-Boston Regional Airport. An aide to the Vice President is confirming that one of the engines in Air Force 2 was hit by a bird shortly after takeoff, causing smoke and sparks.
I asked everyone around me if anyone caught that. And so everyone said no, they didn't, and so I showed video evidence, and it happened to actually show what appeared to be a bird ingested into the right engine of the aircraft.
Daniel Cerritos is a student pilot and was at the airport to capture the Vice President leaving. Several others were also nearby. Together, they tracked the plane on their phones.
We were wondering what had happened, and then we saw that the aircraft climbed on a tracker, that it had climbed up, but then it had stopped climbing, as it wouldn't normally stop climbing, and it had started to descend again and start making its way back to Manchester instead of continuing on to its next destination.
These two young men say it took about 15 minutes for the plane to return.
As it landed, we saw fire trucks and emergency vehicles along different sections of the runway, and when the aircraft landed, it was met back where it was parked originally before takeoff.
The Vice President was then seen walking off the plane. He helped inspect the engine and was then put on a different plane that was traveling with him, which headed back to D.C. shortly before 9 p.m.
I'm just glad that everything seems to have gone okay and that everyone's okay tonight.
No word tonight on how long the original plane will be here at the airport. We're live in Manchester. Kristen Carosa, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. White House praises New Hampshire COVID-19 response. Recommends rapid testing. Report says Granite State leads nation in lowest rates of cases. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Amy Cavino.
with hundreds of hot tubs in stock.
Tonight, a new report from the White House Coronavirus Task Force obtained by ABC News praises New Hampshire for transparency in reporting COVID-19 cases in schools and colleges. The report also recommends New Hampshire use rapid COVID testing for weekly community surveillance in school districts and at colleges. But state epidemiologist Dr. Benjamin Chan says rapid tests are less reliable and should really only be used for people who have actual symptoms of COVID-19. He says the quick results can be beneficial for getting teachers and students back to class more quickly.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Motorcycle operator suffers life-threatening injuries after a serious crash in Northampton. One other person involved in crash uninjured. Around 5:30 p.m. on Tuesday, New Hampshire State Police responded to a motor vehicle crash at the intersection of Route 111 and Route 151, according to police. Officials determined that a car being driven by a 72-year-old woman from Hampton collided with a motorcycle being driven by Richard Moore of Hampton. Although he was wearing a helmet, Moore was transported to the Portsmouth Regional Hospital with life-threatening injuries. Moore was later med-flighted to Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston. The woman from Hampton involved in the crash was uninjured. Due to the crash, the intersection of Route 115 and Route 151 was closed for about 4 hours. All aspects of the crash remain under investigation. Anyone who may have more information related to the crash is asked to contact Trooper Christopher Pinsiak at 603-931-9384 or by emailing christopher.jpiezek@dus.newhampshire.gov. Merrimack River Island burns out of control in Concord. Firefighters are letting an island in the middle of the Merrimack River off Hall Street near the Bow Town Line burn until Wednesday. For a number of hours Tuesday, Concord fire and rescue teams have been attempting to contain a forest fire on an island along the Merrimack River. The island runs parallel to Hall Street near Amoskegon Beverages on the eastern side of the city, just west of Garvin's Falls Road. New Hampshire State Police reported seeing the fire first from its helicopter while on detail assistance with the Secret Service in protecting Vice President Mike Pence, who held an afternoon rally in Guilford Tuesday. Pence's motorcade was on its way back to the Manchester airport. Originally, both fire and rescue teams were called to the fire around 6 p.m. Firefighters reported to dispatch seeing the smoke from Interstate 89 as they headed to Hall Street to set up a command. Not long after arriving, it was determined the island was actually in Concord, not Bow, and Concord teams were called in too. Forestry units were called to the scene as well as fireboats attempting to access the river. Due to the severe drought underway in New Hampshire, river levels are low and fireboats were having difficulty accessing the river. Firefighters then attempted to access the fire off Garvin's Falls Road, where electric wires run from Pembroke to Concord. At just before 7 p.m., firefighters were attempting to figure out if the fire was contained to the island. About 30 minutes later, they determined they could access the eastern side of the island via the power lines trail, brought in water pumps to the area to use the river water to douse the flames. The Bow Fire Department stated on Facebook around 10:30 p.m. that the firefighters will let the island burn while bringing monitored overnight unit until firefighters can access the river with boats Wednesday. And that is it for this morning edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Thank you for watching, and have a great rest of your Wednesday morning, and a great rest of your day. And see you back here later on today for another newscast. I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.